with Sam Seder.
The destiny of America is always safer in the hands of the people than in the conference rooms of any elite.
Sam Seder.
They are unanimous in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The Majority Report with Sam Seder.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. My name is Sam Seder. This is the 5-time award-winning Majority Report. We are broadcasting live steps from the industrially ravaged Gowanus Canal in the heartland of America, downtown Brooklyn, USA. On the program today, Trump links Greenland takeover bid to his Nobel Peace Prize snub.
America first?
Don't know what to tell you. Minnesota, a tinderbox as more groups announce their support for general strike this Friday. Trump's DOJ, meanwhile, seeks to press charges against Don Lemon and church protesters of a pastor who is an ICE manager. Third immigrant detainee death at a Texas ICE facility. EU chief warns Trump Greenland threats are causing a permanent break. This as Canada mulls sending troops to Greenland. Oof. Market drops on Trump's 10% across-the-board European tariff threat, including a 200% tariff threat on French wine if Macron doesn't join his peace board. Senate strikes a deal on health care legislation involving PBMs and community health centers. ACA subsidies still languish. Some good news for China. Their economy grew by 5% in 2025, buoyed by, if you can believe it, exports.
Oh.
ICE has stopped payments for detainee medical treatment. A federal judge, however, limits ICE's crowd tactics. We'll see how long that sticks. It is day 8 of the largest nurse strike in New York City history. And Virginia Dems pave way for a gerrymander that may give Democrats a 4-seat pickup in the House of Representatives. All this and more on today's Majority Report.
There.
It is a Newsday. What?
It is Newsday Tuesday.
I get thrown off by the music going away.
Hello.
Sorry. It's been a couple of days.
Yes, it's Newsday Tuesday. Hello to you, Sam.
Hello, Emma.
Hello.
Oh, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Sorry.
Okay.
A little thrown off. I just saw an IM saying, I miss you guys talking about me. You haven't said my name. This is from Graham Plattner on the IM side. I don't think it's actually Graham Plattner. Since my wife and I announced that we were taking my great sperm to Norway. He took he suspended, but only for a couple of days, as far as I can tell. He at least
I think
the campaign.
a week or so, right, for the IVF cycle.
It's crazy how affordable it is over there. Compared to here, right? Like
it is like
eighth of the price.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
America, baby. But hey, princes come to America for their health care, so
Best in the world, baby.
Is there like an anchor sperm type of situation in Norway or something like that, or no? It doesn't work that way.
I mean, maybe the Trump administration is going to look into that birthright citizenship at point of conception, or going to reverse it from there. Unclear.
We got a lot to get to. Obviously, things in Minnesota are still on the brink, or I don't really know how to articulate it. There's the Trump administration seems like they are stuck between wanting to get out of there, but also not looking weak, it appears to me. But we shall see. But we will get to that in a bit. In the meantime, there have been reports that the 11th Airborne Division up in, it's the Arctic, what is it? The
Arctic Airborne, I believe. It's the 11th Infantry in Alaska.
11th Infantry up in, stationed in Alaska, was prepping to come to Minnesota. But there's also speculation that that was sort of a head fake, that in fact they would probably be one of the, if not the lead in invasion of Greenland. And Denmark
got a multi-front war between Minneapolis and Greenland.
And Denmark, meanwhile, has sent 100 troops there, I guess ostensibly just to make it sort of, uncomfortable if the United States were to invade. Canada is considering sending troops there. As, Trump is really essentially mulling the end of NATO and really a decent relationship with the EU. We reported over the past couple of days, like Canada signed a big deal with China to essentially establish not only the sales of their cars, EVs in Canada, but what looks like the paving of the way of a Chinese plant in Canada, or maybe more, building EVs as we watch the beginning of the end of the U.S. car manufacturing business, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think like people in Europe have to be looking over at Canada and saying, why not us, to a certain degree. A lot of European leftists have long held that this relationship with the United States, based in NATO, but the over-reliance on U.S. for their security and their economic relationship puts them in peril. I mean, we have kind of folded in for many years, decades, Europe into our imperial aggression in Iraq and in the Middle East, and also in our sanctions regime, which has limited Europe's capacity to do business with who they want to do business with, right? And Canada has kind of done a clean break. And Carney doesn't share all my politics, but this deal with China is going to benefit Canadians. There's no doubt about it.
Kermit Fat Hog says, I work in an international institute in Germany, and we were advised this week to transfer all of our data into European servers from any American ones like Dropbox or Google Drives in case the U.S. decides to cut off European access to those services, which, seems like a rather prudent, reasonable step to take.
I would have done it, last year.
Here is a clip from the BBC trying to explain the most recent development in Trump's desire to take over Greenland. There was reporting last week that Ron Lauder, the billionaire, had put the idea into Trump's head to buy it some time ago, and then it just sort of, things have steamrolled. Maybe, I mean, I guess, anybody's guess. But here they are explaining in BBC the latest, what appears to be impetus. You'll recall Donald Trump was not the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize this past year.
A national
I
heartbreak.
have been. They fixed that. I am the winner.
And then, but that doesn't mean he didn't end up with the medal. When the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize,
Maria Corina Machado,
who was the would-be beneficiary of the Trump coup in Venezuela, she turned out to be more would-be than she had anticipated, because he felt like, well, she doesn't have the support, and frankly, I don't really care what's going on in Venezuela as long as we get a taste. And we got a taste, and so that's it. when he met with her the other day, he demanded the Peace Prize. She brought it to give it to him. Of course, the Nobel Institute was like, it doesn't work that way. I mean, you can get the prize.
I have it now.
But, it's like a prize fighter selling the belt.
Right.
Somebody buying it at a
Pawn shop.
And then going like, I'm the world champion.
No, it's like
no, you're not. But you got the belt.
No,
like
it's
a gang lord taking your bowling trophy.
or people that purchase Super Bowl rings and then acting like you scored the winning touchdown.
Didn't Trump steal like one?
That was
Rob Kraft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Putin. Wasn't that Putin?
Putin.
I could do it too.
I learned from the best. All right, so here's the BBC explaining the latest reason why Trump is giving that he may invade Greenland. It's because everybody else made me do it.
In Davos this morning. Morning, Faisal. So the World Economic Forum gets underway a little later on. And of course, I imagine a lot of the chat will be about tariffs. What impact could they have on the UK and indeed the rest of Europe?
Now, Sally John, I hope you're sitting comfortably. I know that normally you talk to me about economics and numbers, but this is also the place where all these people will meet. Donald Trump is coming here on Wednesday. We think Keir Starmer might do. He might want to get his skates on because of something that's just happened. We have both the Norwegian Prime Minister and Finnish Prime Minister accounts of an exchange of letters, which is truly extraordinary. It is absurd and funny in a way, but it's also incredibly serious. Overnight, an email or exchange between those two and Donald Trump is reported to have replied, considering your country, this is a message to Norway, decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped the wars, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace. And then goes on to make an argument for why America should own Greenland. An astonishing note, really, to think that that would be sent by the President of the United States. And it shows the sort of...
It's astonishing if it was sent by anybody, not just the President of the United States. If anybody said, I didn't get the Peace Prize, so...
Now I'm the war guy.
Might as well just do the wars because...
I thought you were bragging about he was the other day, saving tens of thousands of lives is what he said. What happened to your principle of being anti-war? All it took was you not getting the Nobel Peace Prize, which, by the way, the government of Norway doesn't... There's so many layers of insanity here. The government of Norway doesn't give you the prize. Secondly, Norway does not control Greenland. That's Denmark, buddy.
So?
I mean, he's being so...
Close enough.
He's confusing white people. This is anti-white racism.
No, they're all live in cold places.
I'm offended as a Norwegian. I'm offended.
Is this a real letter?
Yes.
Is this a real letter? Pop this up here. This appears to be real. Dear Jonas.
Not referring to him as dear Mr. President.
Here's the thing,
like trying to be a jerk.
This is the thing that I find stunning. There's no way Trump typed this out. No. Right? But it's got like his Trumpisms, like the numeral 8, like the capital C.
I think this is dictated, probably.
Considering your country.
Oh, this is for Norway.
Put a capital on C.
Yeah.
Decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus. Wait. Okay, so
we can't count any higher than
numeral 8, so it's easy to read, and then plus all in caps. Thank you. Okay, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be prominent.
What?
Oh wait, no, not prominent.
Predominant.
Although it would
Doesn't make
always be
sense.
predominant.
Yeah.
But can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. See, before I was always like, peace this, peace that. No, Mr. President, that's not America first. I don't care. I care about peace. But then you just shoved it all in my face.
Yeah. I'm cutting my hair.
Denmark cannot protect that land from Russia or China. And why do they have a right of ownership anyway?
What's that about?
There are no written documents. It's only that a boat landed there hundreds of years ago.
Oh my God.
But we had boats landing there also.
Is he 12?
I have done more for NATO than any other person since its founding, and now I have done more than NATO. He personally has done more than NATO. Okay.
Okay.
And now NATO should do something for the United States. The world is not secure unless we have complete and total control, all caps, of Greenland. That's the name of my new book. Complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President
CTCG.
I mean,
He's a lunatic. He has lost his mind. He has lost his mind.
the thing is that if they were to land, I don't know if those 1,500 troops from the 11th Airborne Infantry would probably just have it. And we'll work out the details later. You guys just keep doing everything like you're doing, and just we own you now. And that's it.
Yeah. As I said, it's just incredible. I mean, this is that Europe is completely neutered by this right now. And there have been a lot of people sounding the alarm saying Europe needs to be a little bit more, take control of their defense packs, and they need to be less reliant on the United States for defense, relying on the United States for its economic ties and its trade relationships. Canada is out ahead of this right now. They understand that China is the future. And if I were a member of a European country right now, I would be screaming to kind of cut bait at this point. The United States is not a reliable partner in any capacity.
To be fair, if I am some of these European countries, rightly or wrongly, I would have concern about Russia.
That's true.
We saw two countries join NATO, countries that would never have contemplated joining NATO until Russia invaded Ukraine. And for the past 60, 70 years, they have relied on the U.S., the existence of the U.S., and the commitment from the U.S. For at least the bulwark of their security.
But that's what Trump or maybe I think some of the neocons that are okay with how Trump is operating here understand, is that because of Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, NATO is essential for a lot of these countries that border Russia right now in the immediate, and so we have them by the balls, figuratively.
Donald Trump, when did he truth out this? Last night, I guess. We have subsidized Denmark and all the countries in the European Union and others for many years by not charging them tariffs or any other forms of remuneration. Now, after centuries... Centuries?
Oh, I mean, it was a different century. 19th was 20th.
I figured out what Trump derangement syndrome is.
Just his
it's
brain.
Trump's derangement.
Yeah.
The last fucking 12 years of this country.
World peace is at stake. China and Russia want Greenland, and there is not a thing that Denmark can do about it. They currently have 2 dog sleds as protection, one added recently. Good stuff. Only the United States of America, under President Donald J. Trump, can play in this game, and very successful. I mean, this is all just, I can't even, this is just the ranting of a lunatic. We'll play this clip after the break. Also, we should just say, it's one thing for Europe to be sort of stunned and unclear on what they should do here. Cut bait. I mean, they clearly are, this is sort of the classic metaphor of turning an aircraft carrier. They clearly are starting to move away in certain ways, but it's a process. But if they look to you would anticipate that if there was an opposition party in this country, that the opposition party would be saying, don't worry, Denmark, or hey, Europe, we're going to come back and we are going to salvage this. And we're making a commitment here now as a shadow, whatever, that if we get back into power, we're going to attempt to, fix our alliances. I mean, the Europeans would have to be clinically insane.
Yeah.
To trust this country ever again. Like, you know,
Well,
Sorry, we're busy learning Mandarin right now.
right. I mean, and also, you know, it's a overwhelming majority of the population of Greenland is indigenous. And I just like, you know, when we're seeing these reports too out of Minneapolis or in Minnesota of how ICE is targeting indigenous Americans here. We see the Trump administration's support for basically conquest in Gaza and the ethnic cleansing and genocide there. This, like, the Donroe doctrine or whatever he's returning to is just really a retreat into the more naked forms of imperialism and conquest that this country already engaged in. And so it's just important to point out that this hasn't ended. And even if Greenland is like, you know, a less populous part of the world, it is still very much the same through line of like Western powers and capitalists taking land that isn't theirs for profit.
We'll have more to talk about this in just a moment. A couple of words from our sponsors. I've mentioned over the past, I don't know, month or two, I have a new relationship with my cat.
A good one.
I mean, the big change, and I don't know, I cannot necessarily attribute this change to Smalls, but at one point, it was sometime in the fall, he stopped peeing wherever he wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, and went into the kitty litter box, and we started like now he'll crawl all over me when I'm sitting on the couch watching TV or something like that. Like, we have a better relationship. I don't know for a fact that it's a function of Smalls, but it could be. It lines up. It definitely lines up. It is 2026. I should say this podcast is sponsored by Smalls. For a limited time, get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/majority. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients you'd find in your fridge, and it's delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. The copy they say it's 2026. Do you still feed your cat like it's 1926? I actually feel like Smalls is more like feeding your cat, like probably what people fed them in 1926, where it's like no preservatives,
right?
Not processed in the same way. I mean, maybe not as sort of like balanced in terms of protein, but real food. And the thing with Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. Starting with Smalls is easy. All you got to do is share info about your cat's diet, health, and food preferences. Then Smalls puts together a personalized sampler for your cat. No more picking between random brands at the store. Smalls has the right food to satisfy any cat's craving. My cat just goes nuts for really all the Smalls food, as long as it's like like a fowl, like a bird, but also the broth. Loves the broth, and it's great. But you mentioned this last time because it's good because
keeps them hydrated.
Hydrated, exactly. Forbes ranks Smalls the best overall cat food. BuzzFeed said my cats went completely ballistic for this stuff. My cat's coat, super shiny.
Good health.
He looks healthy. When I took him to the vet recently, vet was like, everything looks perfect. After switching to Small, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements, and that, of course, is a big deal. And the team at Small is so confident your cat's going to love their product, you can try it risk-free. That means they'll refund if your cat won't eat their food. Make 2026 your cat's healthiest year yet. Take advantage of their New Year's special. Get 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/majority. One last time, 60% off your first order plus free shipping when you head to smalls.com/majority. We will put the link in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. Also, sponsoring the program today, Prolon. Every new year brings that moment when we think about our health. You want to lose weight? Maybe you want to move more. Maybe you want to eat better. You want to reset habits that slip during the holidays. Willpower is not enough, folks. Without a real plan, resolutions fade fast. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet gives you a simple science-backed way to turn intentions into action, helping you stay focused and actually see your results you can build throughout 2026. Prolon's fasting mimicking diet is a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes the body while keeping it in a fasting state. It's based on more than 2 decades of research developed with USC's Longevity Institute. It is backed by top U.S. medical centers. Prolon's been shown to support fat-focused weight loss, energy, metabolic health, skin appearance, and more. For me, I try this for longevity reasons because all the data shows like you do this a couple times a year. You know, I'm getting old.
Right.
Starting to think about longevity becoming an issue. It puts your body into a state where you get like cellular regeneration. With Prolon, you get everything you need prepackaged and ready to go. Each kit comes with 5 boxes labeled by day, so it's super easy. You don't have to do any thinking, no guesswork, no planning. And believe me, that it makes it much, much easier. 3 consecutive cycles of Prolon have been shown to reduce your biological age score by an average of 2.5 years and your waist circumference by 1.5 inches. I was surprised when I did it. It was not nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. I came to work every day. I had energy.
You did?
I'm lining up. Again, I just got to figure out, because the only thing that makes it hard for me is that when I do it around Saul,
he teases you. He teases you.
But not everybody has a kid with that kind of attitude. Just in time for the new year, Prolon's offering majority listeners 15% off their 5-day nutrition program for your post-holiday glow-up when you go to prolonlife.com/majority. That's Prolon, Prolon, life.com/majority for 15% off. Prolonlife.com/majority. Check out the podcast and YouTube description for more. Just 1 or 2 notes I want to speak in terms of what's going on with our what feels like imminent invasion, takeover, theft of Greenland. Fashikar, who is the head of More Perfect Union, former campaign manager for Bernie Sanders, was on Fox News. And this is really important because think about what we've heard from Democratic leaders regarding Greenland. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, Dick Durbin apparently was like, said something to the effect of like, I hope they can hang in there. And like, we have no opposition party.
Not even hang in there. I hope you can hang in there.
It seems like it's going to be tough.
You might not be able to.
And we have no opposition party. And there's, in addition to the fact that like, this stuff seems important, seems like an opposition party would be out in front of like saying, this is madness. There's some pretty obvious messaging that's available to them. But the problem is that they don't want to have to sign up to do anything. And so invariably, any type of messaging is going to sound like they're committing to doing something. And in that case, that would be problematic. This is a great example. You have heard of, it's the Tyson plant, right? That is closing. And in, where is it?
Lexington,
Nebraska. And this is a plant that has been profitable. They are closing essentially because they just want to make sure they can maintain the profit margins on beef processing.
And so in a town of 11,000, 5,000 jobs are going to be lost.
And here is Fashikar's point on this.
is right that the greatest problem of our time is that in the richest country in the world, we have great wealth and income inequality, and the poor are getting poorer. We've cut Medicaid from them. We've cut housing assistance from them. We've cut the ACA subsidies from them. We've made AI come for their jobs. The question is, can we put solutions on the table that improve the lives of these working class people? And every day, I think there's opportunities. You see a Tyson plant closure in Lexington, Nebraska right now, 5% of American beef production going away. Instead of going after Greenland and running Greenland, how about you go and run a Tyson's plant and save those jobs?
Well, we can put that on the list as well again. Well,
but I mean, there's the messaging.
Yeah. And AOC sort of previewed this. We played it last week, where she's going out. She's almost doing these like pseudo fireside chat things, which is, by the way, what Zoran Mamdani did to great effect, of not treating the voters like idiots and explaining exactly what you're going to do for them. But to your point, Sam, most national Democrats don't want to have to do anything, so they're not going to go through the effort of messaging. But like, it's about what are the priorities of the federal government. Your tax dollars are taken out of your paycheck. There's a pool of money. What is that spent on? And I know, of course, it's not necessarily how the government works with MMT and all of that, but just from a political messaging perspective, what are the priorities? What are your tax dollars going to? They're going to the genocide in Gaza. They're going to rounding up people on your streets and harassing your communities. They're going towards annexing Greenland when you can't afford health care. You can't afford child care. That's what it has to be.
Like Greenlanders a stipend for joining us. For floating that.
Right.
And there was something like, what was it, like 100,000 per person or something?
Maybe 10,000, yeah.
And even the messaging I'm describing
more than that.
is defensive messaging, and it doesn't, and it's very good for this period. But what it leads, it creates oxygen for is then we tax billionaires to fund those services plus, like. It's a question of priorities with our current way that we're taxing and spending this money. But then we can do more. We can tax billionaires out of existence and guarantee you health care. So it's simple. And Trump, they don't want to acknowledge the fact that the genocide in Gaza had an impact on this election. Yeah. But Trump being the default anti-war guy, all of that is completely abandoned by his actions here, and the opposition party should be pointing that out.
I mean, that's the real reason we need an entire, like, people. What is a revolution? It's an entire changeover of the people making decisions. The Democratic Party is not set up to say we're going to nationalize Tyson, like Chuck Schumer or Murray Gluesenkamp-Perez. You need people like Syed and Platner and Bernie Sanders and the squad type folks. But the vast majority of the party is brainless.
Well, the amazing thing is that we've already watched the Trump administration buy 10% of a bunch of different American companies. God knows where the money's going to end up. But the idea that Chuck Schumer could come out and suggest we should provide a bridge loan to the employees of that, the 5,000 employees of that Tyson factory, and sell them the company and provide the bridge loan essentially to them. There's a million different ways of providing support for that and messaging it, but they cannot bring themselves to doing it. It is shocking. All right, let's start here as we go and look. And remember, on Friday, there's a very long list of Minnesota unions and labor federations endorsing a total shutdown on January 23rd in Minnesota. No work, no school, no shopping is what the banner they are pushing. The Amalgamated Transit Union, 1005, CWA Local, the St. Paul Federation of Educators, Minneapolis Federation of Educators, Minnesota Nurse Association, SEIU, Unite Here, OPEIU, IATSE, Graduate Labor Unions, UAW Local. I mean, there's a bunch of different local unions that have joined in the call for this. Meanwhile, and this is in the wake of the killing that we saw of Renee Good 2 weeks ago. Here is, this is Blanche, right?
Yep. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Todd Blanche, who, again, reminder, this time last year, well, January 20th, I guess it's been a year. This time, 54 weeks ago, this man was Donald Trump's defense attorney. And then he joined the DOJ. And here he is explaining why the feds are not going to look into any aspect of this killing of Renee Good.
Well, the governor's response referenced a number of things, going after Mark Kelly, he says, Alyssa Slotkin, Jerome Powell. But he also mentioned what Matt Finn mentioned in his reporting there. He says the only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. So is the FBI conducting an investigation into that agent, into the shooting? What can you tell us about that? Will it be made public?
Look, what happened on that day has been reviewed by millions and millions of Americans because it was recorded on phones when it happened. Okay, the Department of Justice, our civil rights unit, we don't just go out and investigate every time an officer is forced to defend himself against somebody or putting his life in danger. We never do. That has nothing to do with what happened in Minneapolis. There are over 1,000 shootings every year where law enforcement are put in danger by individuals, and they have to protect themselves, and they have a lawful right to do so. The Department of Justice doesn't just stand up and investigate because some congressman thinks we should, because some governor thinks that we should. We investigate when it's appropriate to investigate, and that is not the case here. It wasn't the case when it happened, and it's not the case today. If circumstances change, and there's something that we do need to investigate around that shooting or any other shooting, we will. But we are not going to bow to pressure from the media, bout of pressure from politicians, and do something that we never do, not under this administration, not under the last administration. And so, no, we are not investigating, and if there comes a time when we need to, we will, but it's not now.
Is there some type of
a fatal shooting that they're basically saying we're not going to conduct any internal investigation over? Of fatal shooting of an American citizen. I know how this country feels about people who are not American citizens. We see how they've summarily executed dozens of folks on boats. But is there any precedent for this?
Well, on one hand, he says that Ross was acting in self-defense, but I don't know. If I'm part of the review of that, I saw the New York Times frame by frame thing. It was quite clear that he was not acting in self-defense. It doesn't even seem to be a question as to whether or not the second and third shot were fired where he was in any threat whatsoever. But here's another question the investigation could ask. Why was he circling the car, videotaping it on his phone? What was the purpose of that? Why did he take the actions he did that were completely contrary to ICE policy about not putting yourself in front of a car at any point? Was she impeding any of the ICE work? The cars were able to wave by. I mean, there's a lot of obviously questions. It's obviously a total snow job. But I mean, the amount of just absolute destruction wreaked upon our government that we're sitting here going like completely unsurprising that Donald Trump's former defense attorney has decided not to investigate this. But this all represents a fundamental sort of like teardown of the basic structures of our government.
But they're basically, I mean, if oftentimes say there is a police related involved, shooting usually of a person of color in a community, they'll go through some sort of at least pretense and fake investigation, and they will exonerate the officer more often than not in some of those circumstances. And that is what people were protesting over in the Black Lives Matter movement. But what is immensely concerning to me about this is the fact that they don't want to set a precedent for an investigation whatsoever. They don't even want to go through some sort of kangaroo court process, which we've seen they have the ability to do across a variety of different issues that might impact Trump negatively. They're just not even going to do an investigation at all.
To be fair, half of the DOJ has probably left the agency anyways. They literally may not have the people.
And they don't have a great record in court on some of these charges, so like they can't.
But they also,
they may not want to get even close to court.
If you're in court, even if you're going through some sort of kangaroo court process, you would have to bring up certain documentation. There would be a paper trail, and there would be records of communications between this ICE officer, between the superiors. There would be some sort of probe into the way ICE is conducting itself. So that one, there's like the we don't want to show any weakness so that we can incentivize our officers to brutalize people at will. That's like, I think, the more political reason. But just the structural reason, the structural challenge to ICE's operations would include some sort of like discovery into their internal communications, and that's what freaks them out. Because we have no idea who these people are, and that's what they did. That's what they're afraid of.
They need every cent that was given to them by Congress last year, because the morale's down despite all of this support. And if Trump, if they waver on that, and these guys think that they're going to have court waiting at the end of this supposed opportunity, it becomes a big drag on morale.
Let's go catch up with some of the other moments that have taken place over the past weekend. Don Lemon, formerly of CNN, now Don Lemon Show on YouTube, has been doing some great. I saw some. He's been on the road quite a bit, I feel like, in 2025. And I've seen some really good interviews he's done with folks. He's gone out to Minnesota, and it has created some controversy. He interviewed protesters who were about to go into a church and disrupt the services there because the pastor. Do we have that clip? Do we?
We do.
The pastors. I can't tell where it would be.
21.
The pastor, David Easterwood, leads an ICE field office in St. Paul.
Despicable.
And so the church protesters decided to protest and maybe let his congregation know that this dude also,
on
one hand, he's talking about, I'm not Christian. I don't know what happens in churches like this, but I assumed it was a lot of love thy neighbor, be good to people, be nice, not let's round up the brown people, but
disgraceful.
Here, play this clip number 21.
Yeah, and you won't see the guy. David Easterwood is the pastor who is the ICE field operator, is not in this video, but this is the disruption that is causing the Trump administration to launch a probe.
They want to bring charges. Now, this is all on video. I don't know why they need a probe for this.
Well, they're saying that it's
Good,
anti-religious, anti-Christian discrimination,
House
of course.
Worship.
Remember the SPM 7. MS, specifically, what is it? The memo.
NSPM 7? NSPM 7.
Yeah.
NSPM 7.
NSPM 7. Yes.
NSPM 7. I can't remember what it is. But specifically outlined anything that was anti-Christian or perceived as anti-Christian. One of these protesters is a pastor herself. So I don't know. It gets
self-hating Christian.
It's confused. Self-hating Christian. Go ahead.
David Easterwood is a pastor here. He is also the director of the field office for ICE in St. Paul. So someone who claims to worship God, teaching people in this church about God, is out there overseeing ICE agents. Think about what we've experienced. The murder of Renee Good at the hands of ICE. A Venezuelan national shot by ICE. A 6-month-old baby who almost died as a result of ICE unleashing military-grade weapons on our community. How dare you claim to be a pastor of God and you are involved in evil? in our community.
Do you think Jesus would be understanding?
We're about worship
these folks.
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them?
No, church had gathered for worship, which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters. Yeah. We asked them to leave, and they obviously have not left.
Which one is his main gig? Is being a pastor the main gig, and the ICE
That's
field
not the-
director is his side gig?
That's not the guy, just FYI. He wasn't there.
The pastor wasn't there?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Oh, that's a different guy?
Different pastor, yeah. But
in that church.
Yeah. That guy, the field director is bald. You can look him up.
What does he have to say
Easterwood.
about David Easterwood, though? Or are we going to just hide behind don't criticize houses of worship? Because I'm
Yeah.
not here for that in 2026. There's a lot of that. And it's despicable to have, if it's true that this David Easterwood is an ICE field director and is like defending the crowd control violence being inflicted on the community, and then also saying, so we're just trying to worship here. Go fuck yourself.
Well, I mean, it's exactly right. Also,
And the Christians in there need to wake the fuck up too.
we also we've played video last week of ICE agents stationed outside of churches, rounding people up, trying to target anybody that might look Latino or black, going into churches. So which one is it? Is it like all of these spaces are off limits and churches can be sanctuaries, as the real Christians are saying, that they will protect people within their halls of worship? Or is it, a place for political ICE kidnappings? Pick one.
We got to stop giving tax breaks to these places. Like that's not anything any politician that we're gonna have on is gonna run on. That's just Matt. It's despicable, and this the type of stuff that's getting away from in religious organizations.
Understand too, this is going to end up being potentially a test case as they start to sort of attempt to label people who protest outside of any type of religious place, based upon, obviously, like, people aren't there protesting Christians for being Christian. They're there protesting a would-be minister for his involvement in ICE. However, there's going to be an attempt increasingly by this government. They've already outlined it in this presidential directive that to do this, you are engaging in some form of terrorism.
Yep.
Here is Representative Keith Self,
Republican
from
Texas,
trying to make that argument. He's here. Here he is, like, this is gonna be an assist from me to the DOJ.
Look, when you live stream something, you want it to be, you want it to cause terror in the population. That's the definition of terror, to cause fear amongst the population.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to make it clear. We're live streaming right now. We do not mean for this to cause terror.
Yes.
I know Keith Self is this scary guy. The idea that we are occupied and have people like him who are literally the lawmakers in this country, it's terrifying. But that is not the purpose of this live stream. Very often when you live stream, the idea is very similar to when you just stream, even if it's not live. Like, even if we were to premiere this as opposed to live, it's not a question of creating terror. It is a form of what's it called? Oh, protest. When you live stream a protest, you're doing it to educate and show that you are protesting, not terrorizing.
But he didn't just say the protest part. He said live streaming in and of itself is an act of terrorism. I'm wondering if Keith Self pre-recorded this interview, because if not, he might be towing the line in terms of engaging with domestic terrorism.
One could argue that live streaming this actually makes the population feel more secure, because they see that, like, oh, those people are just protesting in the church. We're fine. Particularly right now, since I'm not at that church and it's live.
But the terror people might feel is like, this is happening in real time and I'm not there, but it's like the train that came at people when they first saw one of the first films. They thought the train might hit them. They might think that they're actually in the place where they're experiencing the live stream. That's the terror.
When Lorne Michaels first pitched Saturday Night Live, he said this is going to be terrorizing
Canadian
to
insurgent.
the yes. All right, let's go back and just listen to Keith Self try and sort of
shellless turtle
work this out.
Old skeleton.
Look, when you live stream something, you want it to cause terror in the population. That's the definition of terror, to cause fear amongst the population. So when they live streamed it, I compare them to Hamas, who live streamed the attack in Israel that killed hundreds of people, especially in that one festival. So that's what they want to do. They want to instill terror.
Can we have an American frame of reference, for Christ's sake? Like, we're in America.
Well, he's auditioning.
Get the campaign money out, please.
Yes. How can I shoehorn Hamas into this?
Jesus.
So, for me, I thought that the problem and why people were
He's on the
critical.
House Foreign Affairs Committee.
I know.
He doesn't even know, like, he can't even.
Well, I mean, and I thought that the problem with what Hamas did on October 7th was the killing. Apparently, it was the live streaming.
It took up so much bandwidth. You couldn't get any cell phone coverage.
I mean, honestly, like when people watch things on TV, like the ball dropping on New Year's Eve, and that's live. It's a mass terror event.
Well, you're afraid that ball's going to drop on people.
I know.
Yeah, it's like a Hamas attack.
Do we need to hear any more?
No, I don't know. We got
Let's just hear whatever.
They live streamed it. I compare them to Hamas, who live streamed the attack in Israel that killed hundreds of people, especially in that one festival. So that's what they want to do. They want to instill terror. I think the federal authorities ought to go after them, at least in the FACE Act. Look, you heard. Elderly ladies were given prison sentences for praying outside on a public sidewalk, outside an abortion clinic. Let's use it. They've abused it. Let's use it. Look.
We should also say Hamas did not live stream it. I think they recorded stuff, but they did not live stream it. But regardless.
I remember a mosque getting shot up in New Zealand live streamed by a Christian.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't use that one.
Unclear.
Let's go back to Don Lemon, who has been on the ground out there. Again, you can find Don Lemon. We'll put a link to his YouTube channel. Good work out there. Here he is interviewing in addition to interviewing those folks who are going in to protest the church, without any weapons, just like a terror group would.
The church, again, with an ICE director as a pastor. I mean, key bit of context there.
Here's Don Lemon interviewing a man, we just know him as Jack, on the ground out in front of an ICE facility.
What's your name?
My name's Jack. We're just trying to help pick up some released detainees. They're left out in the cold, and get them some supplies, get them home, whatever they need. So.
Cool, thank you.
It was nice to meet you, Doc.
Do they come out here?
Yeah.
When they release them?
Yeah, we got, a whole little system. We're kind of got, whatever you call these.
Do you know when they're going to let them out?
We don't know when. Yeah.
And they just they just walk out?
They just drop them out. I'm looking for somebody with a jail bag, and then we go and help out.
Do they even have it's freezing today?
What I'm told is they've been taken. No, they don't have the right clothes. So in some ways, ICE should be thanking us, because that's like another type of murder. Throw them out in this weather, you don't last very long. So, but basically, I'm told they've been taking IDs if they're brown, and then also phones, no matter what. So we try to get them burner phones, things like that, get them a ride, whatever they need. So
what do you think of these tactics?
it's just, it doesn't feel right, man. I don't. How do you? I don't even want to entertain an argument. It's just like you think about these kind of two-way fetish people. Here's your moment. This isn't small government. I know that. So it's just hard to stomach. That's all.
Thank you for the work you're doing. How many people have you helped so far?
So this is my first day. I just started a new job. I get 2 days off a week, 2:30 to 11 p.m. So when I'm off, I'm going to be here. I just learned of this group that's kind of doing some meaningful stuff and do my part a little bit.
Why get involved?
It's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful country in a lot of ways, and I just don't see us staying that way unless people stand up.
Yeah. It's a cold day. You could be on your couch watching a football game, your feet up.
That's exactly what I'd be doing, to be honest. But it's who else is going to do it? At this point, it's not the police. We need the people.
What's your name again?
Jack.
Jack.
Yes.
Come here, brother.
Yes. I appreciate you.
That's what people need to do, man. You're amazing. That's what people do. Oh, this really upsets you. Why?
You don't want people to die. You don't want. That's a tough one for me. But it just seems so clear. It's not right. It used to be like, oh, you're going too far with these Nazi references. Now it's like, how do you not make those comparisons? I don't know. I used to try to stay away from that. It escalates things, but it's just a trip looking out here. I don't know. I don't know how to take it in, stomach it, the whole deal. So.
Well, you're doing, but you have to be willing to sacrifice something, and you are.
Yes,
so
and your reporting has a lot of meaning too.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Don.
Impressive.
Yeah. I mean, those Nazi references aren't, obviously, they're becoming more and more, I think, easier for people to accurately describe ICE as a Gestapo, draw those comparisons.
Also, don't orientalize it. The Klan, the Japanese internment, this is America.
100%. And I mean, slave catchers that have also been described to, but can we just put this up for a sec? Because this is the reason that I'm not, the reason you say Nazis is because look at how Bovino is dressing. He's trying to look like a Nazi, this outfit that he wore the other day. We have this up? Yeah. I mean, look at this. This is Nazi iconography. The jacket that he's wearing. He looks like an SS officer, and that's on purpose.
Policy is it already?
They're tweeting out Nazi iconography on
I got quoted
the
in
Department
media.
of Homeland Security.
I got quoted in media earlier last year for saying, "Hey, this codes very clearly to Hail Hitler and 1488 stuff." The night I got quoted in media, I got a bunch of attempts to log into my shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, my understanding is that some of these Nazi uniforms were modeled on like Massachusetts state troopers with the big boots. Is actually where that came from. I mean, so
okay, but obviously
maybe he's just being sentimental.
Yeah.
For another time in this country.
Right.
I mean, look, fascists are never going to be the exact same fascists that they were in the past. Everybody has some new innovative twists. Back in the 1920s, you had to take a pillowcase and cut holes in it. But now you can just have a mask and pull it up and then wear some Oakleys or something like that. There's innovations to the fascism that we have to account for.
Fascism is basically a murderous elite impulse against democracy, and it plays out in different ways. And like the sort of dissimilar, like the Nazis and Italians were more regimented in a military sense than we are now, but the impulse is the same. Like, why are we talking about immigration at all right now? It's because A, capitalism can't provide rising wages; it's all going to the top, and B, there is this. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I looked at Brian and put me up on screen. But
beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just their mission is an ultra-nationalist one to create purity. They're not just going after immigrants. They're going after refugees. Just look at the way in which they're defining what an undocumented immigrant is, a search for undocumented immigrants. It's walking up to people of color with an accent or without an accent and assuming from there, like, that's not the way that you're going to find all the undocumented people in Minnesota. Like, you're not going to find Irish people who've overstayed their visas, or Polish people who've overstayed their visas, or, Ukrainians who have overstayed their visas. But this is about a sort of like a racial and national purity,
ethnic cleansing.
And the thing about, to finish the democracy point, Republicans have to find a story of why they keep losing every, besides the Kamala one, popular vote. And the big lie in this country is that it's illegals doing that. And everybody, even I know, that votes Republican still in North Dakota believes that shit. Believes that they're being replaced. Joe Rogan, he keeps talking about it. That's
literally said 3 days ago that that's the plan.
We got to do. What are you going to do about it? That right there is the murderous impulse that gives us fascism now, because they can't win at democracy.
All right, before we go into the fun half, there's a couple of notes of pushback that are worth celebrating. Also, let me just say this: there were reports of people throwing water balloons at ICE officials in Minnesota.
In that weather?
In that weather.
Whoa.
It's freezing cold. And the idea, I guess, is that, if someone's get a lot of water on their coat or on their, it's going to freeze up in that thing.
Get icy.
And get icy. And just, I gotta say, obviously, if an ICE person saw you throw a water balloon at them, they would be upset.
They could shoot you in the face.
Yes. And obviously if you were, let's say, up in a third floor of a building or something like that, like you were in a different locale and they were to come into your town, you could drop those water balloons down. It would be harder for them to find you. But I'm saying you're not supposed to do that. Yeah. And anybody who comes up with some type of like innovative way in which to find a way in which to get ICE officials wet in that cold, obviously, would be doing something that was wrong, but also innovative.
But what if you meant to like help them hydrate too? Because
there's a lot of times, look. You freaked out, you squeeze the bottle of water and you get nervous. Who knows? All I'm saying is just reporting the news.
It's good to remind cops also, when it's cold out, you forget that you also dehydrate.
Exactly right. And you know how in hockey players, they have the squeezy bottles and they just squirt,
it's
are
innovation.
Squirting water for them to drink.
It's hydration innovation.
Also, saw a video of this, which I thought was great too. There are people now using their key fobs, and when they see ice, they're just like setting off the alarms on their cars. And so you could be ice coming down the neighborhood. Whistles is good, but you just hit that key fob, and all of a sudden, all the horns go off. And then there's this guy who now I don't know in Minnesota what the laws are in terms of carrying.
Pretty lenient, I think. Maybe not quite Texas lenient.
But here's a guy who's going out and decided to protect his neighborhood in the way that ICE apparently is, pretends that they're protecting us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You live in the neighborhood?
Yep, this is my block, this is my area. I don't go into other people's neighborhoods and try and intimidate them. I protect my people.
Are you giving out your name?
No, I'm okay with that. Our neighborhood's showing up.
You guys had a lot of people out here, right?
At least 30 or more.
Yeah.
40 or 50.
That's pretty good for a quick turnout.
So it's got his...
that's another thing from the Don Lemon piece where that guy said the two-way fetishists, like, this isn't small government. I think that's a remarked on development is how sort of discredited the libertarian, like anti-war, anti-government
God.
thing is. Who gives a shit?
This
what
is
any
what
of
they
these
were
losers say
supposedly
anymore.
like. This is what what was it? 2 years ago, maybe less, where we had U.S. State, we had senators
Yep.
saying that the Second Amendment is not there because of
Rand Paul said it's
hunting.
not. It's not there to hunt. He tweeted out. It's still up. It's not there for deer hunting. It's there to shoot at the government when it becomes tyrannical. He tweeted that out.
What would a tyrannical government look like if it didn't involve sending in 2,000 to 3,000 up-armored troops into a city?
Medicare for all.
It's very clear that all Second Amendment sort of conservatives, their fear isn't a tyrannical government. It is sort of non-white teenagers in their neighborhood that's making them nervous.
Could be dental coverage.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, yeah, there is an over-representation of a libertarian perspective in media because of the dynamics that Matt was just laying out, that the conservative project and Republicans haven't won a popular vote or over 50% in quite some time of the country on the presidential level, because it is deeply unpopular what they advocate for. So you have people on the internet that maybe are like right-wing media figures. Sorry, there's a dog in the hallway. Media figures that will that water down what the Republican Party really stands for, whether it's that Trump's actually anti-war or that it's the conservative movement or libertarianism that's against the boot of the government and that we're going to stand up for personal liberty, because that's a much more palatable brand than what the Republican Party actually stands for, because their ideas are not popular.
Yeah, the Second Amendment, and I'm somebody who does, for the reason here, like I'm open to certain limited rights to bear arms arguments, but the Second Amendment has been very clearly just about scared men and the freedom to be able to lynch somebody if you want to, and not the freedom to or power to protect yourself from the government.
We'll see how that goes. We got some Black Panthers in Philadelphia walking around with a lot of weapons. See how long that lasts. The Second Amendment it has to have some restrictions.
Isn't that what happened in California? Because of the Black Panthers?
Ronald Reagan was the
Yeah.
first push for gun control was because some Black Panthers went to, I think it was in Oakland City Council meeting with some weapons. And we're like, what? Impeccable
muzzle restraint by those folks.
All right, just one more a community note. You can go to icerrt.com to find a ice watch near you. And here's a way that you can help. Let's say you work at a hotel. Let's say you work at a motel and you don't like ice. But you notice that there's a lot of guys from out of state coming and staying at your hotel or motel. You know, there's ways of leaving anonymous tips to some of these immigrant defense projects, or I don't know, just this is a letter from Doubletree. Dear blank, in room number blank, please know that your safety and well-being will always be our top priority. Due to heightened public safety concerns in St. Paul, we have made the difficult decision to temporarily close our hotel, and your reservation will be canceled effective Sunday, January 18th, 2026 by 12 p.m. We're taking this step out of care for you, our team members, and the surrounding community. Due to your unexpected departure, our team can assist you with alternate accommodations if needed to support you during this difficult transition. And as a gesture of goodwill, we can either refund your last night's stay or pay your first night's stay at your new hotel at the same rate as your canceled reservations with us. Thank you for understanding during this challenging time. Apparently, multiple ICE agents were booked at the St. Paul downtown Doubletree, and they received this notice. They are not taking, according to Bill Malugan on Twitter, they're not taking. They have not been taking any reservations at that Doubletree. But that's probably because somebody who worked at the DoubleTree realized that they had ICE agents there. And look, sometimes maybe if you worked at a hotel or motel, you would tell a friend to tell people, or maybe
Yeah, don't put it from your own phone, maybe.
Yeah.
The way they have surveillance. Maybe do it by mouth.
Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Or, maybe write a note and send it to one of these ICE RRTs, or send it to the press, or send it to, I don't know, local group. If somebody has to drive 45 minutes to work, or an hour to work, or an hour and a half to work, I mean, it's less time for them to put in at work. And in this instance, that would be great.
Yeah.
So much of what we're going to be dealing with this year is going to be thwarting ICE in any way that we can.
Attrition.
And there's not going to be a situation where you're going to be able to thwart ICE directly. You're going to have to just make their job more and more difficult. Makes it difficult when people blow whistles. Makes it difficult when people set off car alarms. Makes it difficult when people know their rights. Makes it difficult if you can't get a good night's sleep. Makes it difficult if it's really, really cold and you get your gear gets wet.
The folks setting up drums and instruments outside of hotels to bang on them to 3 a.m. is so awesome.
Yep.
Also, it is, there's nothing that is more difficult than when somebody cuts the nipple off of your tire. Oh, yeah. Your inner tube. That has happened to me, and it is so frustrating. Because, obviously, to pierce a tire is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that difficult to just sort of flick off that pressure gauge on the on your inner tube, which you can see right there with the little. I mean that. I don't know why they don't make those better. It is always that has been one of my greatest limits. But I mean, God forbid something like that would ever happen. Now, of course, you don't want to ever be seen doing anything like that. At night in the parking lot of someone's car or something like that. You wouldn't want to be seen doing that. You shouldn't do it. It's dangerous and wrong. But just as a community service, it's wrong. Here is Graham Plattner. There were reports that there were 200 ICE up in Lewiston, Maine. And Brian tells me that there's not necessarily a huge immigrant population per se, but there is a significant refugee population up in Maine. And understand, they don't care. This is not, it's never been about undocumented immigrants. It's never been about dangerous criminals. It has been about a uber nationalism, uber nationalism to purify the country from and get rid of people that are from shithole countries, as Donald Trump called them.
Yeah, they're rounding up people at their ICE hearings. They are trying to strip people of temporary protected status, meaning they came to the country legally. So it's never been about people's immigration status. It's about their ethnic character. They're doing an ethnic cleansing with ICE as the Gestapo.
It's not even like the political element of it. Like there was a older Hmong guy who was a lot of Hmong in Minneapolis because they sided with us we used them in the Vietnam War. No, don't care. Throw him out, bring him out in his Crocs, drive him around for 3 hours until you find out that actually, he's a citizen.
Yeah.
Here is Graham Plattner outlining again. We've heard this from other politicians. I think this very similar script, but worth hearing again so that people remember it.
ICE has been operating in Maine for a while, but now they're threatening to step up their brutality and bring what we saw in Minneapolis to our state. It is time for Mainers to step up and protect our communities. The following are things that you can do to protect yourself and your neighbors. 1, you do not have to speak to federal agents. 2, you do not have to show them any form of ID. 3, you do not have to sign anything. And 4, most importantly, you do not have to open your door. ICE cannot enter your home or private areas of your business without a signed judicial warrant. That looks like this. If ICE does not have a signed judicial warrant, you have the right to say, I do not consent to entry, and keep your door closed. ICE is legally allowed and trained to lie to you. They try to trick people into opening their doors with fake warrants that look like this. If you are asking to see a warrant, ask them to slide it under the door or hold it up to a window. But in public spaces, all ICE needs to make an abduction is what they call reasonable suspicion. We know what this looks like. Racial profiling, asking people for their papers, ripping people out of their cars, and tackling people in the streets. If ICE approaches you in a public space, don't speak, don't show, don't sign. You have the right to ask, am I being detained? Am I free to go? Repeatedly until you get an answer. There is no law against informing fellow Mainers that ICE is in the neighborhood. There is no law against using the tools at our disposal to keep our families and our communities safe. We will not let masked agents come to Maine and terrorize our communities. We will not be intimidated. This is our home.
Boom.
We had a Graham on Left Reckoning last year, and it was right after he went to a rally with Somali refugees. Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's good on this.
All right, we're going to take a break, head into the fun half. Just a reminder, it's your support that makes this show possible. You can become a member, join themajorityreport.com. When you do, you not only get the free show free of commercials, but you also get the fun half, and you get to I am the fun half. And sometimes it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. I'm not going to make any massive promises. It's not just up to us. Sometimes other things have to be fun. We will play some hard-hitting. We're gonna watch some bare knuckle politics done by Chuck Schumer, the leader of the Democrats.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter what your politics are, ladies and gentlemen. Watching a maestro like Chuck Schumer work his political magic. Whoa, wait till you see this.
And that is not Kentucky Fried French fries.
No, it is not. Also, justcoffee.coop, fair trade coffee, hot chocolate. Use the coupon code majority, get 10% off. Matt, what's happening in the Matt Leck media universe?
Yeah, Left Reckoning coming up right after the fun half today over on YouTube, where we've been going pretty hard at Jasmine Crockett, and today we turn our attention to James Tallarico, who had an extremely disappointing statement about his position on Israel that basically admits that he's like not going to be a leader on that issue, which is sad because he's proven that he can be a smart communicator on some of this stuff. So we'll get into that. Folks who have been hoping we would go after him a little bit harder are going to be happy about it.
Folks, I'm getting a reminder that we should ask you to follow us on Instagram. But I think we're going to do a little more on Instagram.
Was that you?
But
that followed me back on Instagram?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I couldn't. It's not verified, so I'm like, is this?
I don't know how to do any of this stuff on there. How do I get verified?
Like, I probably should have waited.
Do I got to pay? Is it like
it's a paid service.
I got to pay?
Not. Really? I got verified, like, no, not on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Well, they just gave me a check.
You probably got verified before.
Oh, probably, yeah.
It became a paid service.
It's so funny that Elon gets all the crap for the paid for verification for Twitter, but everyone does.
No,
it.
they copied him.
I would
the
pay.
Worst thing.
I would pay on Instagram, but
okay. Well, I don't know. Either way,
I don't know. I just you're the first person I think I followed. I mean, I think there's a couple other people I followed.
So I was suspicious. I'm like, this is some hacker trick, because there's like three like crystal ball TikTok accounts. I'm like, these aren't all real. Those people pretending to be Crystal. So it's good that you're on there now.
I mean, if someone wants to pretend to be me on Instagram, what they do is post nothing.
Yeah.
But you should follow us on Instagram. It is majority.fm on Instagram.
MajorityReport.fm.
MajorityReport.fm on Instagram. There you go.
Yes. You can
And
follow
it's-
me on there too. I'm
you can
very
get at it.
active these days on Instagram. I basically kind of abandoned. I mean, Twitter, I'll tweet something on occasion, and but it's just the website's broken. Like, you don't reach anybody on there. I've
reach
reached so
Nazis.
many more people on Instagram, really, since the genocide, since I started getting more active on there. And
Twitter's for reaching Nazis and journalists.
Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Also, we should also announce. I sort of wanted this to happen on Friday, and I'm convinced if I say something now, it's going to end up happening like on Thursday. Right. But I don't really care that much about it. I mean, I do. No, I do care. This is exciting.
Okay. What?
This is exciting. This is exciting.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are just days away. Listen, don't sign up until Friday, okay? Because we're closing in on 2 million subscribers on YouTube. Saul actually told me that yesterday.
Yes.
I was like, I know, like, Brian, you had mentioned it like months ago, but the thing is, it's ebbs and flows. Like some months we're getting 20, 30,000 subscribers. Other months it's like 10, 15,000 or something like that. So you never know. But we are within days of getting 2 million subscribers, and I gotta write a piece about it. I gotta write. Thank you.
Let's go into the fun half, maybe.
Yeah, what an ambivalent announcement.
Well, it just
I don't
came
care
like
about
I
this.
meant to like plan for it, but I was like, I'll plan for it on Friday.
Who cares?
No, it's good. It's good. It's a good thing.
I think it's good. We're very excited over
This
here.
is a shaggy broadcast today.
It's a little bit. We're a little bit
pretty
rusty.
shaggy, yeah.
All right, folks. See you in the fun.
Yeah, thanks.
3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now. And I don't think it's going to be the same as it looks like in 6 months from now. And I don't know if it's necessarily going to be better 6 months from now than it is 3 months from now. But I think around 18 months out, we're going to look back and go like, wow.
What? What is that going on? It's nuts. Wait a second. Hold on for a second. Emma, welcome to the program.
Hey.
Matt.
What is up, everyone?
Nomi Key.
You did it. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
Bradley, you want to say hello?
Sorry to disappoint everyone. I'm just a random guy.
It's all the boys today.
Fundamentally false.
No, I'm sorry. Women's.
Stop talking
Oh,
for
wow.
a second. Now let me finish.
Where is this coming from, dude?
But dude, you want to smoke this 7A?
Yes.
Hi, me? This me?
Yes.
Is this me?
Is it me?
It is you.
Is this me? Hello, is this me?
I think it is you. Who is you? No sound. Every single freaking day. What's on your mind?
Sports.
We can discuss free markets and we can discuss capitalism.
I'm going to go throw up.
Libertarians. They're so stupid, though. Common sense says, of course.
Gobbledygook.
We fucking nailed him.
So what's 79 plus 21?
Challenge Matt.
I'm positively quivering.
I believe 96, I want to say.
857-210-501. 1/2. 3/8.
9/11, for instance.
$3,400, $1,900.
6, 5, 4, $3 trillion sold. It's a zero-sum game.
Actually, you're making me think less of it.
But let me say this. Poop.
You can call it satire. Sam goes, it's satire.
On top of it all,
Yeah.
my favorite part about you is just like every day, all day, like
Yeah.
everything you do.
Without a doubt. Hey, buddy, we see you. All right, folks.
It's just the weak being weeded out, obviously.
Yeah, sun's out, guns out. I don't know.
But you should know.
People just don't like to entertain ideas anymore.
I have a question. Who cares?
Our
Our chat is enabled, folks.
I love it.
I do love that.
Look, gotta jump. Gotta be quick. I gotta jump.
I'm losing it, bro.
2 o'clock. We're already late, and the guy's being a dick. So screw him. Sent to a gulag?
Outrageous.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Love you, bye.
Love you. Bye-bye. We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigeland, talking
Smack.
talking music
No.
gear.
Luthier discussion over here.
Talking music gear. The Democratic Party has not been covering itself in glory in its opposition to what we've seen, really, in any of it, frankly. There's a couple of people who have been good, but the leadership of the Democratic Party has been anemic, to say the least. This is a good sign, not necessarily by the leadership, but by one guy who came out, and I remember when he voted for the Laken Riley Act, we were like, oh, we're getting Kristen Sinemaized here.
Yeah. I mean, at the very least, he ran as a tough on the border Democrat, and he has ambitions for president, Ruben Gallego.
But this is a good sign, at least in terms of like, not necessarily regarding Gallego, but regarding where the politicians think public opinion is on ICE. And here is Gallego going on with Jake Tapper. Remember, a year ago, when was he elected? We're in 2026, 2024.
So he's been in the Senate for exactly a year.
And when he was elected, he voted for the Laken Riley Act.
That was January 29th, 2025.
Within a year, this is where his position has evolved to. And I can assure you it is a function of some polling he's seeing somewhere.
A CNN poll this week found that half of Americans, more than half really, think ICE is making cities less safe. A growing number of Democrats are renewing calls to abolish ICE entirely in the wake of the death of Renee Good a couple weeks ago. You have said that ICE is a problem, it's out of control, but that abolishing ICE would be a mistake. Why?
Well, look, I think ICE needs to be totally torn down. It has to be, created in the image of what people want, right? And what does that look like? From my experience running in Arizona, in a very hard state when it comes to immigration issues, people want immigration enforcement that goes after criminals, right? And focuses on criminals. And immigration enforcement is actually focused on security and not the goon squad that has come from Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. One that issues warrants, one that doesn't have people masked and acting like, we're a third world police force. What we're seeing right now is not what we want from ICE. And we can create and have a force that's actually focused on immigration and on security and not this type of intimidation that's happening right now.
As you know, this.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. There's a couple of verbs here that I want to examine just a little bit. He's not saying abolish ICE. He didn't use that word abolish ICE. But let's just go back to the beginning. And I just want to hear because at the end, he says, we can create, which suggests that something doesn't exist for you to create it. We can't create a force, but let's listen to this here.
More than half really think ICE is making cities less safe. A growing number of Democrats are renewing calls to abolish ICE entirely in the wake of the death of Renee Good a couple weeks ago. You have said that ICE is a problem, it's out of control, but that abolishing ICE would be a mistake. Why?
Well, look, I think ICE needs to be totally torn down. It has to be, created in the image of what people want.
Okay,
right?
I think we've heard enough. Totally torn down. The thing
Totally
about,
tear down ICE.
The thing about totally torn down is that you don't get the news guy who goes, abolish ICE. It's like he said, abolish ICE. Think about how much attention abolish ICE got
and now we see the monster that it is, versus abolish the Department of Education. Correct. Or totally destroy the IRS. I mean, abolish USAID. Like virtually nil. And they just did it.
But when they say torn down, I mean, there was some fear that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had backed off her abolish ICE position, and she had talked specifically about cutting funding as it relates to this appropriations bill for DHS that's coming up on January 30th. And I think she deliberately didn't use abolish ICE, like that term, maybe because you're seeing. It doesn't mean her position isn't identical to what it was before. I think that it probably is, and that's what she reiterated. But they're clearly like there's internal Democratic polling that people want this agency to be rid of, but not to use the term abolish for some reason, which seems silly to me because I don't think it has the same issues that defund did. Like the median voter is much more positive about the police force in their community than they are about ICE agents. And what defund the problem with that slogan was that it had like this libertarian implication that you're essentially getting rid of police forces, as opposed to what it meant and what reformers talked about, which is allocating those funds towards community safety that would make people safer, as opposed to having cops in all of these interactions. I don't think abolish has those same issues, but it still is something I think like Democrats need to keep in mind when they're talking about like we can claw back that funding and make a more humane immigration processing system so people can come into this country.
Like what is the Democrats' vision? And they need to have I think they call it the Ellis Island Act of like
100%.
Like it's
this is what I was just gonna say. First off, one is that like you know how Democrats are always obsessed at what we need is the right message.
Yes.
Forget about actual policy. They need a policy. They need to come out with actually an actual immigration policy that they can articulate in one sentence. And tough on the border security, et cetera, whatever. They need to have an actual immigration policy. And then the other thing is, based upon parenting tips that I've gotten from Instagram, which have all come too late because my kids are sort of beyond that, offering a positive vision. Tear down. Great. I'm happy we're going to tear down. But how about we need to create a 21st century INS or something just something that actually what are you going to do? And it just requires having a vision for what immigration is. And the idea is that you cannot compete with the Republican on Republican terms for this. You cannot be, we're going to protect you from immigrants, but do it in a less harsh way because you are in some way implying that we need protection from immigrants. And so the point is that we need an actual proactive and plan for immigration that, ICE has just got to go. I don't care if they say abolish or tear down, totally tear down.
Nuke it. But and the other thing is the Democrats need to be credible on cost of living and material, because that's really what people are freaked out about when it comes to immigrants. They're taking our jobs, and you can't be Bill Clinton, friends with all the corporations that are in fact like Tyson, that are in fact using kids in the plants, immigrant kids in the plants. That is why you've blown the credibility.
That's why we had all of those rollbacks on child labor laws. Yeah. It wasn't because wholesome, American families want to teach their kids the values of hard work and get out there and earn $1.
Legalize the lemonade stand.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
It's because they want to be able to send 16-year-olds who are here in this country either, maybe on parole or staying with family members, and they don't want to have to deal with trying to find their parents to get them to sign off on it because the parents aren't around. Maybe they're staying with with family members or friends, and they've crossed the border, and the only way they can get them in and remove culpability for the factory is by rolling back the child labor laws.
Right. And so just to footnote on Gallego, because he's going to want to run for president. This is somebody who doesn't have strong beliefs and isn't a strong leader. If you voted for the Lake and Riley Act, it was a part of the mandatory detention of immigrants. That is what the Lake and Riley Act paved the way for. And it's not just if you're convicted of a crime. It basically said that if you were accused of one, there's some sort of mandatory detention process. So now, of course, we're seeing that something like the 75% of the people in ICE detention have no criminal conviction. But the Lake and Riley Act completely expanded the ability for ICE to do arrests based on pretext, not based on past criminal convictions. And Ruben Gallego was a huge part of that.
Yeah, big joke. Any senator that voted for that.
Dimesh says, the first Democrat to run on mass amnesty now will get my full support. Make them all citizens. It's better than all of us losing our constitutional rights like we are now. I actually think that is... there's a big opportunity for that, to run on the idea of like, we need to make everyone citizens. Obviously, you commit a crime, you're still going to go to jail. You're still going to be run afoul of the law. But we need to make everyone citizens right now to protect all of our citizenship. I think there's an opportunity there, and we'll see. I mean, who knows where we're going to be in 6 months, frankly. But here is Senator Van Hollen showing some backbone. It's like, it's so obvious.
Yep.
This is such an obvious leverage point, an opportunity. Chuck Schumer has literally, I think, like buried himself in a hole. I think Saddam Hussein was more visible at the end of the regime, than where Chuck Schumer is.
Which might
Chuck
be a
Schumer's
blessing.
Hiding. Incidentally, you know how Chuck Schumer gets on a Sunday talk show? His people call and say, Chuck Schumer wants to come on. So if he's not there, there's a reason. But here is Van Hollen.
Well, what I'm saying is exactly as you quoted, that I am not going to cast a vote, not one dime, to support this lawless, brutal Trump ICE operation. So what I'm saying is, unless there are significant reforms to rein in this lawless ICE operation, and there was a federal judge that just this week said that ICE agents were violating people's constitutional rights, right? They were preventing them from engaging in protected, peaceful protest. So my view is there has to be dramatic change. I don't foresee this administration doing that at this moment. So I'm saying I won't provide any funding.
I don't hear you saying what I'm hearing from a lot of others in the party and the protesters certainly, to abolish ICE.
Well, what I'm saying is exactly as you quoted, that I am not going to cast a vote, not one dime, to support this lawless, brutal Trump ICE operation. So what I'm saying is, unless there are significant reforms to rein in this lawless ICE operation, and there was a federal judge that just this week said that
that's just
ICE
repeating
agents
it again.
were violating
Okay.
people.
Look, obviously, we're not going to abolish ICE with this vote.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And the question is, what can Democratic senators, to a lesser extent House members, because they can't really prevent this vote for the DHS. Democratic senators could. What can they do to weaken ICE as it is, received all this funding, as it is gearing up? It's just going to get worse and worse, regardless of whatever the next city is. It's just going to get worse and worse. What can they do to weaken ICE? Here is what a federal judge in Minnesota, Judge Kate Menendez, ruled, a U.S. district judge There's a case filed in December on behalf of 6 Minnesota activists. Covered federal agents are hereby enjoined from A, retaliating against persons who are engaging in peaceful and unobstructive protest activity, including observing the activities of Operation Metro Surge. B, arresting or detaining persons who are engaging in peaceful or unobstructed protest activity, including observing activities of Operation Metro Surge in retaliation for their protected conduct and absent a showing of probable cause or reasonable suspicion the person had committed a crime or is obstructing or interfering with the activities of covered federal officers. They are enjoined from using pepper spray or similar non-lethal munitions and crowd dispersal tools against persons who are engaging in peaceful and unobstructed protest activity, including observing the activities of Operation Metro Surge, stopping or detaining drivers and passengers in vehicles where there is no reasonable articulable suspicion that they are forcibly obstructing or interfering with covered federal agents or otherwise violating 18 U.S.C. Paragraph 111. There are ways in which you could say, I'm not going to vote for this unless the agents are not allowed to wear masks. I mean, for my money, that is a very obvious ask, a very easy one for even the most cowardly Democrat to make nationally. But if these ICE officers, these thugs, understood that when they go to their kids' basketball game, everybody's going to be looking around knowing that they're the ICE guy.
Yep.
Remember, Ross had told his neighbor that he was a botanist.
Yep. He
told his neighbor he was a botanist for 10 years because he was embarrassed by it. These people should be pariahs. Before they get tried, before they go to jail, before they are brought in front of committees, they should be social pariahs. And the way you get there is to reveal their identities. And so, I mean, this is a simple ask. There's a lot of other things that you could do too. Like, you can't use pepper spray on people for, all of the things that were in this court case.
Yeah, but we saw, I mean, I don't think we have it on the sound sheet, but Kristi Noem over the weekend was getting upset because I think it was either Margaret Brent, whoever it was, one of the anchors on the Sunday shows said Jonathan Ross's name, the killer of Renee Good. And she got she said, don't say his name, right? Why is that the case? His name is out there publicly. It's because the more that people's names get revealed, the more they will be pariahs in their community and the more we can have accountability.
Here are folks, where is that? All right, here's an example of a couple of things. Which one is it? Okay, yeah, here's number 14. Here is what they were talking about in this Minnesota court case. You're going to see, and the person who's recording, she walks back because she's afraid of these ICE people, but you're going to see them go after people who are literally 30, 40 feet away, just blowing a whistle. That's it. Play this. Okay, so they've grabbed somebody out of a car. This woman.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you resisting arrest? Gina, what's your name? What's your name, Gina? I'm backing up. I'm backing up. Is she a U.S. citizen? Are you immigration control? She's not impeding. It's not impeding. It's observing. We're legally allowed to observe. She's not impeding. No, she's not impeding.
Now, it's tough to see. There's somebody on the other side of the car. But look, they're going to intimidate that guy with the vest. They sprayed the guy with the vest. He was 15 feet away from the car, and they sprayed him with the vest.
And the wind blows back in the guy's face.
Backing up as you're saying that. We're all backing up. We're not impeding. You were outside of your control.
Now, it's tough to see what's happening on the other side of the car, but they grab somebody else, throw him down the ground, and that guy's whistling, and now they just come after him and start punching
She's a
him.
U.S. citizen.
Punching this guy.
Goons.
I'm backing up.
Punched him down onto the ground. That guy wasn't anywhere near anything. And honestly, if there were 10 other people there, they wouldn't have done that.
Yep.
They just looked around and realized, like, there's nobody really here to catch us.
He was near their feelings.
This is also important. There are places of business, we've already said, like, hotels, motels that allow ICE agents to stay there. They should be subject to protests. If you work at one of these hotels, you should get word out. You should be careful about how you do it. You should get word out. Here is a protest taking place at a Target in Minnesota. This is after there's been multiple, after those thugs showed up at a Target. What number is this? 5. They're demanding that Target stop letting ICE use Target property and parking lots, both to question people and to stage. This is the thing. ICE has very few places where they can stage if they are prevented from doing it. So they could stage in on federal land, but they can't stage on private property if you tell them they can't. They can't go into the mall parking lot and stage there if the mall ownership or the Target says you can't do that here.
That's why there was controversy in LA about the Dodgers stadium.
Exactly.
Last year.
Here's this protest out in, this is from freedomnews.tv.
We are one. We won't stop fighting. We won't stop fighting. Till ICE is gone. Till ICE is gone.
Target says that their mission is to support the joy of everyday life for all families. Then do it.
Do it now.
Justice over profit.
Justice over profit. People over.
I sit here not only as a mother or a grandmother, but I sit here as a great-granddaughter of an immigrant. And I sit here and I ask Target, you must stand with us. You must stop discriminating. You must stop treating immigrants wrong. You must give them better wages. You must give them an opportunity to have housing. You must give them an opportunity to feed their children. I sit here because this is the right thing to do.
That's right. That's right.
There's a lot of stuff that, people should be banking this stuff because it's coming to a city near you. They're not stopping. It's like a one-day lull, maybe just in the news. I mean, I think if you're in Minneapolis, it feels very different. This is out of Morristown, New Jersey. ABC 7. This came from January 17th, so just 3 days ago. ICE, like we say, there was reports that there was a couple hundred headed up to Lewiston, Maine. They're in the Hudson Valley in New York. They're in New Jersey right now. Minneapolis, St. Paul, we see, they have 2,500 agents descending on there, but there's still plenty more, and they've got a ton of money.
Yeah. I was horrified to see this. Morristown, fairly close to where I grew up, but I saw that there were some students that came out in the street. This is a heartbreaking clip, though. I guess there was a father that was taken from this child, and you'll see the child wondering where their father went.
He was taken. A lot of people were taken.
Including, they say, the father of a 6-year-old girl. The child left alone on the street until adults who saw her stepped in.
My sister said, "Do you need any help?" And then she said, my dad was taken. Her dad was taken by immigration, and they left the little girl by herself. She was stranded. They took the dad and left the little girl. That was horrible for her to see that.
In the middle of the target zone sits St. Margaret Catholic Church, where that Sunday, the priests, during a packed mass, were warned of the raid happening at that moment and did what they could to protect those in their congregation.
The majority of our parishioners has papers. We have followed every legal steps. We have come to this country in the legal way, but we are afraid. We are afraid to be picked up, taken away, and being mistreated. And that's what is going on in our minds, and this is not only in our minds, but this is what is going on in this community.
Judy Ashworth has lived in Morristown for decades.
This whole ICE business, it's so cruel, I think, so sadistic, and so scary. What is happening, it's terrifying. I think it's terrifying. They're masked up, they have guns, they're not afraid to use them. It's horrifying. And it really is very reminiscent of what happened in Nazi Germany.
And those two women that we spoke to said that they cut their power walk short today because they realized that one of them forgot to bring along her U.S. passport. They say that is how afraid they are that they have to go around carrying their documents to prove that they are U.S. citizens. Now, we are hearing that there is supposed to be a protest against ICE here at 6 o'clock here in Morristown outside the Hyatt Hotel. For now, we're live here in Morristown. Tony.
So Phil Murphy, the outgoing governor of New Jersey, on his way out just today, vetoed 2 of the bills that would protect immigrants in the state of New Jersey, including one that would limit state law enforcement's collaboration with ICE, state and local law enforcement. Now, Mikey Sherrill, when she ran for governor, had a similar position. Now, she's incoming, but she's shown the ability to be pushed. Towards the end of her campaign in 2024, she had become a lot more aggressive thing on the issue of affordability.
State moratorium on AI, yeah.
Calling for a state of emergency on that issue. Also, as Matt said, tackling energy costs in a more effective manner. She has said that she'd be down to tweak this, or basically, I don't know, this kind of law if it were to come up again. We don't know what those tweaks entail, but I think if you have the opportunity to speak your mind, if you're a New Jersey resident, call Mikey Sherrill's office once she gets into office and say, this is what we want. We want there to be a ban on local law enforcement collaborating with ICE here. Also, especially because Sherrill got into office with a major swings from Latino voters in New Jersey. So this is what her constituents demand. This is about protecting her constituents. Be gone, Goldman Sachs, Phil Murphy. Let's have somebody actually represent people in New Jersey. I'm not saying Mikey Sherrill, Zoran Mamdani, but she can be pressured on this. Call her office.
Pitt from Ohio says, I'm not on social media for mental health reasons. How else can I get immediate info about ICE activity in my area? Go to ICERRT.com. Look for an immigration rapid response group in your area. Get in contact with them, and I imagine they will send out text messages, etc.
Interesting. I'm just noticing that was a Catholic pastor there. David Easterwood, the guy at the Minnesota church. I looked up what kind of church that was. Southern Baptist Church in North Minneapolis. People look up the history of the Southern Baptist Church and how it got the name Southern. It's because they wanted to keep slavery.
Dem Socia, please stop spamming us. There's a Stop ICE rally in Washington, D.C. at 14th and U Street Northwest today at 5:30 p.m. for all those in the DMV area. Turn out if you can. Okay, we've got those 22 IMs that you've sent. That's helpful. Thank you. Solana, hi, Sam and Emma. I'm a case manager in California. My experience, many undocumented people becoming totally isolated for fear of leaving the house and being detained. Imagine the psychological toll. California resistance. Sam, good tools for use for ICE activity. IceinMyArea.org and IceOut.org. So those are all tools that people can use. And again, if during the hours of our show or we haven't answered your IM, go to the Discord at majoritydiscord.com. All of this information will be available there. All you got to do is ask somebody. Take over the IMs for a moment.
Sure.
I have to run. I'll be right back.
Okay. Colt Dog. When a friend and I were observing a raid, her kid asked why they wear masks, and she said it's because they're ashamed. It's a good answer by your friend. Alex from Germany. Every single Democrat who is going to vote to give DHS/ICE one more penny for their illegal behavior in exchange for some fake restraints, which they will ignore, needs to be primaried and removed from office next election if possible. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3, 4, 6, 5, 7 more times. Call me centric establishment Democrat. Kraken at my hog says, is Van Hollen the only Democrat that knows he's currently in office? At least in the Senate. Well, Bernie too, and Warren to a degree. But yeah. Rubber fingers. Schumer, the tumor, needs to be exorcised from leadership. Excised. Science is political. I used to think re-education camps were bad, but then I saw a clip from a podcast where two partners told their adult son, if Trump had shot him, there must have been a good reason. Yes, they are in a cult. Will from Indiana.
The trouble with doing re-education camps here is it implies that people are educated in the first place.
Will from Indiana. The world may be a rotten place, but my Hoosiers are national champions in football. Yes, congratulations, Will. What a story.
Bizarre. I haven't been paying attention to college football. I would never thought I'd do it.
Yeah. It's a bit of a Cinderella story, but they were dominant all year, and now Mendoza's going to go to the Raiders and beat Corny over there in Las Vegas.
Let's... Should we do 27, 28?
Sure.
Or do you want to do the...
Can I, since football came up,
let's do your football.
Just 15 is just... This is my little football story, but it's also obviously political. Azeez Al-Shaair, really phenomenal linebacker for the Houston Texans, who unfortunately lost to the Patriots because C.J. Stroud has regressed for some reason. Yeah.
Well, I mean, part of that could have been just the Patriots' defense. Bruising.
Easiest path to the AFC Championship I've ever seen in my life. But so Azeez Al-Shaair, great linebacker for
luck is a part of everything
for the Houston Texans, has been one of the only advocates in the NFL on this issue, has been standing up for Palestine, and it's very rare. I mean, you have very few in the NBA too, but in the NFL, which is even more conservative, like this is just really important. He wrote "Stop the Genocide" on his eye black in the game that they had previously won that sent them to New England where they lost, but he was fined $11,000 over it around that. Now, this is NFL policy for political speech. People will point out that one of the Bosa idiot brothers wore a MAGA hat and had a similar fine. But I still think it's a beautiful act of protest, and I just appreciated what he had to say in the wake of that loss after the game.
Palestine and you work for Palestine and you could personally involve, kids that have been amputated. Were you disappointed that the league fined you for this?
I knew, that was a fine. I understood what I was doing as far as for example, Steph, he wears the eye tape, since I know them with stuff on it, and they always find you. But I was told that.
Oh, can you pause? Actually, what he's referring to there is that Stephon Diggs wears Bible verses on his eye black and doesn't get in trouble for it. So it is true. The NFL would argue that that's not political, but Stop the Genocide is. But it's not as clear cut.
But doesn't he say here they always find you?
Oh, that Steph gets
That's
fined.
what it says, they always
okay,
find you
I'm
anyway.
I'm sorry. Find you. I was the auto captions that threw me off. All right, keep going.
Stuff on it, and they always find you. But I was told that if I wore that in the game, I would be pulled out the game. So I think that was probably the part that I was confused about, because I understood it was a fine. Sure. But I ain't never seen Steph get pulled out the game for having eye tape with writing on it. True. So at the end of the day, it's bigger than me. And the things that are going on makes people uncomfortable. Imagine how those people feel. I think that's the biggest thing. I have no affiliation, no connection to these people other than the fact that I'm a human being. And if you have a heart and you're a human being, you can see what's going on in the world. And you check yourself real quick. And even when I'm walking off this field, that's the type of stuff that goes through my head that I have to check myself when I'm sitting here crying about football, when there's people who are dying every single day.
And right now, there is a chill on protests in this country, and
play ball.
Corporations, like Trump went on the one of the broadcasts, the Fox broadcasts, to talk about the NFL game earlier on in the season. The amount of jingoism that this league engages in, the saluting of the flag and all of that. Corporations right now are trying to tamp down the idea that people are protesting ICE, people are protesting the genocide in Gaza. They're trying to make it so that is not at the forefront of people's minds. And, for the most part, 99% of NFL players don't engage in this kind of civil disobedience. They also tried to teach them a lesson with the Kaepernick stuff. And that's why I appreciate Al Shayer's advocacy on this issue. And he's been consistent for years. Since really the genocide began. And credit to him. And it sucks that the Texans lost, because I was rooting for them for that very reason.
Well, good for him.
And lost to, major Zionist Robert Kraft.
Well, look, no team is 100%.
Also, shout out to the Rams for ending the tyranny of the Chicago Bears.
Okay, well, the tyranny.
You're so serious about football.
You as a Packers fan are just the tyranny of the Bears. Poor Bears fans.
They deserve everything.
Oh my God.
Speaking of sports, do we want to talk about the woman who traded Luka Doncic? From the
oh my
God.
God.
This is pretty stunning. You're at a forum. You got to try and just wonder, you're at a forum. You're talking about, it's an APAC forum, right? I'm sorry, AIC.
Israeli American Council.
It's
problematic to get those confused.
Yes. You're at a forum. Haim Seiben is on stage with Miriam Adelson. Miriam Adelson, the billionaire that gives money to Republicans to do what Israel wants. Haim Seiben, the Democrat who gives a billionaire who gives money to Democrats to get them to. In fact, many people think that it's Seiben, or Saban rather, who kept Harris from not saying anything about what was happening in Palestine.
He was deeply connected to the Biden administration as a mega donor. So we have a bipartisan representation on stage. What's wrong?
What a rich marketplace of ideas.
Yeah, why do you?
But that's what the saddest part about this is that we're not allowed to hear the ideas. Play this.
Miri, you and Sheldon
created a lot of relationship over the years with politicians at the state level, especially at the federal level. I want you to share with everyone why is it so important and how do you do it? Again, writing checks is part of it, but there is more than writing just checks. So how do you do it?
Can you allow me not to answer?
You choose.
I want to be truthful, and there are so many things that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want specific, but that's okay.
Oh, they're applauding?
But everyone
yes, we
should...
wanted to come out to hear what we weren't hearing. We wanted to know what we weren't allowed to know. I mean, there's one easy answer, and that is, well, it's not just about writing checks. It's about writing checks and including at least 6 zeros on that check before the decimal point. Get sneaky.
And then doing a little bit of research on them if they become oppositional.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't she want to say, if I speak, it would be I'm trying to buy them off so that they support the ethnic cleansing. Yes.
Like create relationship is such a funny euphemism. The way like Bob Kraft create relationship at, strip mall massage parlor.
Exactly. I paid for it.
How do you create that relationship?
Well, I have a similar relationship with, the gas company too. I just automatic withdrawal.
That's very bizarre. Well, she could say that there's a different variety of methods. You have all the way from potential blackmail, Lindsey Graham tweeting out a photo with Mossad the other day, all the way to just straight up corruption. It could be anywhere in between.
There's a wide range. First, you have to have someone who is completely without any ideological or any moral values.
Yes.
And then you got to have the money.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of like the most anemic and weak Democratic leadership you can imagine, you will recall that there was something called the CHIPS legislation.
Mm-hmm.
And the CHIPS legislation was about incentivizing industry in this company. Like Joe Biden had a sort of was using tariffs in some instances
in a very targeted way.
In a targeted way, but it was part of like an industrial policy. We want certain industries to be in the United States for, in many respects now, security reasons, and for just broadly security reasons in the sense that like we're going to need access to computer chips. And let's say there's a once in a lifetime pandemic and it shuts down 3 cities in China. We may not get access to computer chips. Or let's say that we have some type of conflict with China. Let's say we had, 4 or 10 years of the president being a complete jagoff and ruined all our relationships and isolated us. We might want the capacity to build these ourselves. And so part of it was tariffs, and the other part of it was subsidies to entice people or companies to come and build in certain areas. Maybe we'll provide job training, whatever it is. Here's Chuck Schumer at a groundbreaking in New York State. Luke Rattle, who is Rattle? He's
I looked him up briefly. It seems like he's like an independent journalist online.
He in New York, I suspect, and is at the founding of a Micron plant. I'm not exactly sure where this is. Presumably it's in New York. And here is Chuck Schumer along with Howard Lutnick.
You mean Nutlick? Oh, sorry. No, you're right. You're right.
Exactly.
You're right the first time.
This is near Clay, in Clay, New York, near Syracuse. What's that?
Yeah, it's basically Syracuse. Yeah.
And they're going to invest up to $100 billion over 20 years. Now, a lot of times these things turn sideways, but It is expected to create 9,000 direct Micron jobs and 40,000 community jobs. It broke ground just a couple of days ago. And here is Chuck Schumer. Now, there's a reason why politicians go to these things. There's a reason why, as Commerce Secretary, you would go to this thing. Can anybody guess? Can anybody guess?
For a photo op, because you're looking like you are bringing economic activity to that community.
You want to show to the community, look what we did.
Yep.
Government's good. This can work. And this is a plant. The CHIPS bill, I think, got around 0 Republican votes, if I remember correctly. Maybe we can double check that. But obviously, this is very close to 0. This was the Chips and Science Act of 2022, $50 billion in incentives, tax credits, and funding for domestic semiconductor research. Let's listen to this.
Mr. Secretary, the president opposed the Chips and Science Act. Why should he get to take any credit for the jobs that it's creating here?
Can I say that we're not looking for one side or the other. We're working together to make this thing happen. In the right way.
My God.
Chips agreement. I am the author of the Chips.
Can you pause it?
Look at
the. He's wearing the Bills hat. Okay. All right. I guess he is a Bills fan, despite being from Brooklyn. But regardless, he interjects the question to give Lutnick credit. Yes? I saw that right? I'm not hallucinating?
No.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
He interjects, and then Lutnick just walks all over him.
All right, start at the beginning.
Can I say that we're not looking for one side or the other. We're working together to make this thing happen in the right way.
So the CHIPS agreement.
I am the
was
author of the CHIPS.
$6 billion was given to Microsoft.
Shut up,
$75
Chuck.
billion in America. That was a good start. Now, with the Trump administration working closely with Sanjay, we've upped that game to $200 billion commitment, right? In exchange for the same effective money. So instead of having 2 fabs here, we're going to have 4. Instead of having 1 in Boise, we're going to have 2. $200 billion of investment. So we took a good start and made it great working together with Micron.
And can I just say, with that $200 billion of investment, 90,000 jobs will be created here in America related to directly at Micron, as well as supporting the whole ecosystem. And these will be high-paying jobs. And today, 0% of memory is made here in America. Now, 40% of leading-edge memory over the next decade will be made right here in America. And you know, in your brain, you want more and faster memory. That's the same story for AI. And AI needs data, it needs faster, more memory. Micron is going to be making it right here in America. Super excited between all our investments in Boise, Idaho, as well as today, starting here in New York.
And we are I am getting calls, we are getting calls, the state and federal level, of many more companies that want to come and follow Micron's lead over and over again, in not only in central New York, but in Albany, in Rochester, in Buffalo. The fact that Micron came here and is putting such a large investment in gives other companies the faith that they should be here in upstate New York.
And this is not going to be just about construction, but also about entire semiconductor ecosystem players, material suppliers, equipment suppliers, and all the support personnel that is needed. More of them will come to America from all over the world.
So the key was yesterday.
Nice try, Schumer.
We announced the Taiwan U.S. trade deal.
Now look, now listen. So maybe Chuck's staff didn't have him prepared to how are you going to make it clear that there's a difference? There's a difference. There was going to be no Chips and Science Act. I guess it was 68-32. There was you're not going to get this, more or less. Maybe there was a 64-33 at one point. You're not going to get this type of bill under Donald Trump. So let's give Chuck a second bite at the apple, which is exactly what Luke Riddell did. He went to go visit Chuck Schumer, and it gives him an opportunity to take another bite at this apple. How come you? This is number. Here we go. And he writes, exclusive. I followed up one-on-one with Senator Schumer after my exchange with Howard Lutnick on the CHIPS Act. And
it's a day ending in Y.
Yeah.
I want to follow up on something I asked Secretary Lutnick when we were out on the site. I asked him about the rhetoric from him taking credit on behalf of the Trump administration for what happened, even though the president didn't support your Chips and Science Act. You pushed back on that a little bit. I'm curious why.
Well, today's a day for bipartisanship, and should certainly without the work we did, it wouldn't have happened. But, you know, there was always a worry when Trump came in because he didn't support the bill that they would not continue the work we were doing. But they are, and I'm glad.
You give him credit for that?
Well, I'm glad they haven't cut it off.
Yeah. He also said that the tariffs are going to be helpful in terms of getting business for Micron. Do you agree with that strategy?
I think tariffs are a very mixed bag, and I don't agree with him. I think the tariffs have raised costs for the American people, raised costs for small business, and Micron will be doing great here in America because of the incentives we gave them. They wouldn't have gotten the money if they were building chip fabs.
Oh, you mean the bipartisan incentives? The one that Trump also gave. I'm confused now. Do we need a decoder ring for this guy? Is this the first day that he's done politics? The guy has been in office for 75 years or something at this point, right? Yep. Have you not figured this out? Is this the first ribbon cutting you've gone to where the Republican Party was not helpful in making it happen?
It's bipartisan because even though barely any Republicans voted for it, Trump is, for now, saying he won't kill the project.
I mean, my God. Is there no opportunity that Chuck Schumer will take to miss an opportunity? It's fascinating. I mean, like, nowhere to be seen in terms of leveraging the ICE vote. He's out in Syracuse, won't even actually sort of say, like, this is what happens when you vote for a Democratic Senate. We passed this through at a time where there was a lot of opposition, and over time, people have come around. I'm glad, Lutnick is here, and I'm glad the president has come around from his earlier problems with it. I mean, he lives in such terror of Donald Trump. Such terror. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And people like Chuck Schumer's controlled opposition. If I want a controlled opposition, the last thing I would do is get someone as weak as Chuck Schumer.
Yeah.
He's of a different era. It has passed him by. Really shocking. It is really shocking. I mean, dare Trump to get rid of that company. Dare him to do it. And just the idea that you can control it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, like, is it the incentive? Like, there is a massive shortage in exactly what Micron produces right now.
What's the thing? Who's that guy, the doctor who voted for RFK, the Republican?
Cassidy.
Yeah, Cassidy. Same thing with Cassidy. He does Donald Trump's bidding with RFK, and then Trump comes out and endorses his the primary. Yeah. There's no winning with this guy.
That's why he wears a Bills hat.
But you can lose later. What if we lose tomorrow instead of today?
Yeah, that's right. We had one wonderful day in the sun.
Wearing my Bills hat.
I mean, honestly, like, it's as if this guy would break out in hives if there was the slightest bit. Well, I took a little bit of political advantage from the fact that we actually did something, but I feel bad about it.
We're sorry.
I'm so sorry. No, Lutnick was responsible for all of it. I shouldn't have said anything. I feel bad now.
Such an inspiring leader.
Oh, gosh. But wait a second. Let me go 4 or 5 paragraphs deep into this, and then I'll give you the secret key that shows that we should be voted for.
Shout out to all these Senate candidates like Graham Plattner who insist that, I don't
He's
support...
a little bit straightforward for
I don't
me.
support Chuck Schumer to be the leader of this party.
Did he say that, though?
Yeah, he said explicitly that. It'd be nice to hear that more.
Okay, but do people really want explicit? Right? Don't we put warnings on when things are explicit? Be careful.
That was the other thing Democrats did in
Explicit
the 90s that
lyrics.
lost.
Well,
the
okay,
vote.
yeah, that didn't go so well. That didn't go so well. Well, what are you gonna do? A couple more IMs. Wait, there was one other one. Oh yeah, let's do the Dokapol one.
Oh, yes.
Tony Dokapol is
Struggling.
like a hit-making machine.
Oh, sorry.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I guess some people could say struggling.
Honestly, like, think about this. We live in an attention economy. And if you become the anchor for CBS News, does anybody who's the anchor of ABC News? I guess it's that David Muir, right? Is that his name?
Muir, yeah.
Who's the anchor for NBC News? I have no idea.
Used to be Chuck Todd, right?
No, that's Meet the Press. Well, then
I have no idea.
I mean, it used to be Brian Williams.
As somebody who's 75.
Yeah,
he used to be Brian Williams. That was
a long time
like
ago.
10
I'm
years
saying
ago.
I don't remember now who.
Yeah, it was Tom Brokaw. Okay, so hats off to Tony Dokapol.
Tom Lamas.
Okay, Tom Lamas. If
No
Tom
idea
Lamas was
what that
sitting
guy looks like.
right here,
Yes.
I wouldn't be able to tell who's this
Tom
dude.
Lamas?
Yes.
Head of hair.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's
so-
what Tony has going for him.
So
but-
the good news is
right
that we've talked about Tony Dokapol more than any other anchor of a network news show for years.
Yeah.
The bad news is people are only watching clips of him F up as opposed to the actual broadcast. So that cuts against him. But here's the thing. He stated when he started that one thing that they were dedicated towards was not going to fill up their newscast with experts and pointy heads and, professors, highfalutin, smarty pants.
Right.
It was going to be with regular, normal people. And then, of course, they interviewed a bunch of huge politicians, President of the United States,
I wish I had the list because it's a hilarious list.
It's a hilarious list. But put that aside. Here he is. He's going amongst the people. And here's how you know that Tony Dokapol, in his heart, is a conservative. Right? I don't know what his politics are like as they practice. I do know that he is a Zionist, like a very intense one, and very, very suspicious of anybody who criticizes Israel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if in his daily life he perceives himself as a liberal or what, but he has the fundamental sense of aggrievement. Even as he is one of the three network anchors, a job, incidentally, which even Donald Trump admitted and it said, if it wasn't for me winning, you wouldn't have this job.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody would have signed off on Ellison buying CBS Paramount. The Skydance Paramount thing wouldn't have happened.
He'd be
And then-
languishing on the morning show, making racist comments towards Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes, and I mean that's it. I mean that's fine. He could be there and do like the puff pieces. But here he is. He is, but he still has an incredible sense of aggrievement. So much so that he turns around to guys working in a steel factory and says something like this.
America, the end of our second week live from America. What a privilege it's been to hear directly from so many of you, to hear what matters in your life as we reported on the ground on immigration, opioids, inequality, and so much more. And we put some of your big questions in front of this country's biggest leaders, mayors, governors, senators, even the president of the United States himself. Look for us again next month out somewhere in the country, and Monday from New York. But good night for now. I'm going to talk to these steel workers. You want to trade jobs? This one's not as easy as it looks. I've been learning that. Thanks for the hospitality.
Yeah,
I
now the
really
guy's like,
appreciate
wait.
it.
If you're
This
being
is all
sincere,
wonderful.
hold on, wait a second. Do I get the $5 million?
Yeah.
Because I'll sit there and say, if I get the $5 million, I'll do it.
But you have to take a plane trip in the next week.
Yes, look at all the travel I'm doing.
Right. I mean, look, these guys have to use physical labor. Their back hurts. They may get injured on the job.
Probably ingesting things that give them cancer.
But
40
Tony,
years.
but Tony Dokupol has to like bear the weight of being a mouthpiece for the Trump administration as he makes millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Mocking me online.
I flew economy.
It's unbelievable. I got to take flights.
That
I
stretches
gotta wake up in the
credulity,
morning. We were supposed to go. We were supposed to go to Texas, and then I got stuck in Minneapolis
And
because
have you seen
somebody
the
got shot.
temperature there?
Ah, and it was so cold. And now I got to be in here, and
It's not so easy. So yeah.
I was just say he just seems really natural talking to regular people. He just seems like he does that all the time.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
charismatic.
I'm going to go talk to these steel workers. Excuse me. You guys want this job? I'm going to. Like, and the amazing thing is that he worked on that line.
Oh yeah.
He worked on that line because he doesn't even give them, he doesn't like, the way that line would work is like, do you guys want to do this job? And then they go like, oh yeah, we'll do it. And he goes, well, I got to tell you, not as easy as it looks. And then maybe like there can be a little bit of like, you take a lot of abuse if you screw up type of thing.
Yeah.
But he's so desperate to get that second part of that line out that he doesn't wait for the response. He like he
Well, that was his
can't-
little moment of individuality. Everything else is Barry Weiss's AI that he has to read from. I mean, didn't the Times report that she's been personally editing some of his monologues?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
And
I mean, so he's not just a mouthpiece for the Trump administration. He's the mouthpiece for the most boring right-wing hack in media right now. And like, I mean, honestly, at least Fox News, they try to add some little personality to their broadcast. Barry Weiss has been doing the same shtick my entire life.
Angela from Alberta, we call that a boomer joke, but it's, like, it's not just that it's a boomer joke. Can we put it back up again? Because I find this just sort of stunning. He was so invested in saying this that
because he knows he's getting criticism, so he's like, how can I shoehorn a little fun thing
Yeah,
to
like,
acknowledge that I
it's
know
so fake.
A boomer joke would be like, I don't drink anymore because I'm and then you don't wait for the response before saying I don't drink any less either.
Yeah.
Nicola says, my pap was a Pittsburgh steelworker for 35 years. He got shut against a furnace door, terribly burned. His friend died in the furnace. Multiple people there got injured terribly. Some died during his tenure. It's serious work. Tony, 2 cuts. You'd burn your dick off.
Well, as I'm saying, is like, he's like, let's relate. You get injured. You might cut yourself on the job using tough machinery. I voluntarily cut my penis.
And also have to lie about things like genocide.
And make millions.
This is a real hello, fellow kids moment, too. Like, this
in the country, and Monday from New York. But good night for now. I'm going to talk to these steel workers. You want to trade jobs? This one's not as easy as it looks. I've been learning that. Thanks for the
oh my
hospitality,
God.
guys.
So,
That was a really douchey line we keep press play, let it run.
Really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. And this is all wonderful. I'm going to pick out my new refrigerator here. Which one's good? America.
What a folksy guy. Reminds me of just the guy down the block.
I'll take one of the things you built.
We don't sell the refrigerators here from the factory.
No, that's how I
that,
relate
right?
to you.
Like,
You make things that I put in my house.
You know what that looks like? That was when JD Vance was going and at the donut shop being like, you work here?
How long have you worked here?
How long have you worked here? Oh, good.
Make
Good.
small talk.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it couldn't have been more uncomfortable, and it was all so scripted.
Yeah.
It was all so just like scripted and unprompted and just completely,
Yeah.
And I have to say, tremendous lack of charisma, even associated with just even the slightest bit of, it really, like, you have to work hard at this.
To be that dull?
It's just sort of like, it doesn't look as easy as it looks.
You know, he's like, I'm not wearing a hard hat.
No.
I'm literally just a talking piece of hair.
Right. Without my hair, what am I?
Okay. Oh, all right. We got to go. We'll play that tomorrow. All right. I got 5 IMs. I got to get out of here. Got a phone call. Nomeland Security. Why not a nationwide general strike this Friday? Well, because I think
organize it. It's tough. Start.
You
with
understand
what the people are doing.
You understand why it would be easier to do a general strike in a city of 400,000 people who have been, there's been this ICE onslaught versus the rest of the country. Right? Like, I mean, it's like.
These are questions to ask a union or a protest group that you're a part of.
But it's
and not
also,
a
I'm
podcast.
sorry. They called for this 2 weeks ago, not even. It's like somebody's thirsty and you walk up with a cup of water and they, but why not a reservoir? Well, I can't carry a reservoir. I mean, there's material instances here. It's not just a question of like, left is strange. Here in upstate New York, I've heard a lot of ice sightings in Oswego. Dimpra, sorry, Sam, if this question is too personal for the show, but do you have any gray poupon? Leftist Dijon. See, I'm getting a lot of grief about the sweater.
People are wrong about this. The sweater's nice.
That joke was older than that sweater makes it.
Yeah.
Sam, you should just know it's what's available for people to bludgeon you with.
Also, I'm sorry. I was thinking of getting one of those for my husband, and those are back in style.
Oh, they're definitely back in style.
Yeah.
Well, I never not had a cardigan. I always.
Well, I understand, but they all.
But you know, I did.
Cyclical.
You know, it's much better than the old days when I would wear a sweater vest.
Yes, I would agree.
Bill V, doesn't Trump's admission that Machado doesn't have support in Venezuela make the claim of the election meddling by Maduro somewhat bullshit? Both things can be exist at the same time, but most of what they're saying is bullshit. Yes.
I mean, I would say like on Maduro's most recent election, like I wouldn't vouch for it being entirely above board. I think you have to zoom out and look at the broader politics around how America has been treating Venezuela and think like maybe that's not the best way to cultivate a democracy within a country.
Okay, 2 more. Carlos, do you think that in a way the Nobel Committee giving the Peace Prize to the opposition leader of Venezuela set in motion Trump's aggression towards Venezuela, or that at least manufactured some type of consent for it? I think for him, it made him like ready to go more than anything else. But I think they've been working on it for a while.
They should look into why they decided to give. I mean, I think the Nobel seems like a joke after, I mean, frankly, the Obama one. But that, like giving that freak a Nobel Peace Prize,
Absolutely
I don't
insane.
care anymore.
Yeah.
And the final IM of the day. Freighter. I was trying to work out what Sam's double spec Schumer bit reminded me of. I think Cesar Romero's Joker with the painted over mustache. Matt, Brian, Emma, great job today, folks. See you tomorrow.
It might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the light bulb. But finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light's shining bright. I guess somewhere the choice was made for the option where you don't get paid, for the road that bends before it finally breaks you. I guess